Built at a cost of more than £30 million, the Techboard mill at Rassau Ebbw-Vale is the most advanced wet process fibreboard facility in the world. Techboard's whole philosophy is firmly based on the principle that only the best is good enough, both for its customers and for itself. And it was this principle that led it to seek out many of the world's most respected organisations when it came to sourcing the financial backing, goods and services that it needed. Insisting on the best led Techboard to decide on SAP R3 when it came to choosing its business control system. And that led them to Siemens Nixdorf.
Choosing R3 for us wasn't really a big decision at all. We looked around the marketplace and there's nothing else to touch it.
When it came to choosing the implementation partner, Siemens Nixdorf was the only company that we identified that could provide everything we needed. The hardware, the software, implementation, support, even right through to the leasing. It was important to us to have just one point of contact. It made it so much easier.
R3 is a fully integrated system for controlling business organisation. From a single large company to the biggest multinational group, R3 can be applied in any industry, controlling every aspect of operation and providing management with all the data it needs. At Techboard, that control begins at the weighbridge, when raw wood chips are delivered at the start of the production process. Once purchase order and delivery weight details are entered into the system, R3 will track and control all materials every step of the way, right through to issuing the sales invoice to the customer. The transformation from wood chip to Techboard begins when the chips are graded. The shaking action of the grader helps to separate those of the correct size, and the selected chips then move on to the next stage of the process. After grading, the chips go into a washer. This process not only cleans the chips, but the hot water also starts to soften them. From there, the chips are fed into the massive preheater unit, where their temperature is raised even higher and they're prepared for the defibrator. It's in the defibrator that the process of breaking down the chips really begins. It's a process which continues through several more treatments until eventually the raw material finally emerges as liquid pulp, ready for the wet forming machine. Now the raw material must be compacted. Huge rollers compress the pulp, while vacuum boxes underneath extract as much water as possible. All materials are tracked by R3 from the moment they enter the factory to the time they are dispatched as finished product. At all times, up to the second information is available on the whole operation, and in a wide range of formats.
One of the great strengths of R3 is that it can be configured to suit the individual user's requirements, from shop floor right through to the boardroom. The storeman, for example, can look in from moment to moment, see what his stocks are, see what the status is on purchase orders outstanding. Sales can look at orders on the system, see where they are in the production process, when they'll be through to finished goods and away to the customer. At senior management level, we can compare material usages with prior periods, with budgets, look at trends, and gain the information we require to run the business.
Back on the production line, the rudimentary boards move on to the hydraulic press, where a pressure of 50 tons per square metre is applied. It takes only a minute or so for the press to do its work, and when they emerge, the boards look much more like the product with which we're all so familiar. Continuing on their journey, the boards are separated from their wire mesh frames before travelling on to be trimmed. All the processes and systems throughout the whole production cycle are monitored and directed from the production control room. It's part of a total programme that's been tailor-made for Techboard to provide a fully integrated manufacturing control system. Working in conjunction with automated controls supplied by Siemens, R3 is able to monitor movements of raw materials, semi-finished and finished product throughout the mill, providing real-time inventory information on every PC in the system. The boards are now ready for the final production stage, where they will be prepared to meet customers' individual requirements. First, they're pre-trimmed, and then, because so much water has been squeezed out in the press, the boards are rehumidified. This is a precisely controlled process in which rubber rollers press water into the porous board to balance its moisture content. Before being cut and packed, the board is placed in intermediate storage. R3 provides TechBoard with a sophisticated business system which allows it to predict sales and order patterns and supply its intermediate storage areas with the appropriate qualities and quantities of product at all times. Such precise and accurate control is vital, particularly in a just-in-time production environment.
R3 really is the most integrated system, from sales order processing through MRP, production orders, production planning. It recognises whether we've got the sufficient raw materials. If not, it automatically reorders them. All the inventory movements of semi-finished goods, finished goods, spare parts, everything feed directly into the financial accounts in real time. All the paperwork, the invoicing, delivery notes, all those sort of things just happen automatically. Everyone in the company at any time can see what we're worth, how much stock we've got, how many sales orders we've got outstanding, the current status of every order. True integration.
TechBoard's intermediate storage system is controlled by this massive machine, which goes by the name of Lucky. Lucky's job is to transport the stacks of boards in this part of the plant, but this is one heavyweight that has brains as well as brawn. Fully computerized and integrated with R3 by Siemens Nixdorf programmers, Lucky is programmed to store product in the most appropriate place and to retrieve it again automatically to keep pace with the demands of the saw.
In some ways, one of R3's greatest assets, its richness of functionality, was a major challenge for us as a startup business. We had no existing procedures or methods of working. It's a bit like going into a good restaurant and really wanting to eat most of the things on the menu. Which one do you choose? Siemens Nixdorf's implementation team are not just backroom boffins, they're people who worked in industry, and they were able to give us enormous help in deciding which way to go and how to configure the system.
R3 is once again the key to precise control as boards are trimmed and cut to order in the saw control room. The service TechBoard offers is unique in Europe, as every board that leaves the mill is exactly the size that customers want. All that remains now is to wrap the finished orders, so they arrive at the customer in first-class condition. Then it's off to the warehouse, ready for dispatch.